They don't have what it takes. They don't have what it takes today because they were never equipped with the right feelings towards you, the right intentions towards you, and much less the right actions towards you. So it is safe to release them. This message didn't find you by coincidence. It is validating that everything that is falling apart is meant to happen today as is, because it just doesn't meet the criteria required for this next chapter. For you to live a peaceful life, don't you need peaceful people in your life? For you to live a life of happiness and joy, don't you need genuine friends, genuine partners, genuine colleagues? For you to live in wealth, don't you need people who contribute, who elevate you, who support you, who guide you? For you to live in wealth and health, you cannot be surrounded by toxic people. You cannot be surrounded by draining people, draining environments. You cannot get that outcome. You cannot get a positive outcome from negative things. Does that make sense? And I know that deep down, you know this, but that the story, the history that you share with them is what's making you hold on to the potential in them, and it's just not going to happen. If it were meant to happen, it wouldn't be dissolving, it wouldn't be destroyed, it wouldn't be dismantled, it wouldn't have been exposed. If it was meant to be, they wouldn't have done you so wrong. And your spirit guides, or the most high, whoever you believe in, spirit wouldn't be taking things out of your life that were meant to be good for you if they were really not. Things would not be removed. Whatever is destined to be in your life will not be taken from you unless there's something about it that truly is not it. The problem is that when we're in the midst of doing the most and trying the most for people, we fail to see their shortcomings because we're making up for them. You made up for so many people's shortcomings throughout your life. You've been the people pleaser, you've been the contributor, you've been the protector, you've been the provider for so long that you had no time or energy to see how short they fell compared to you. You were constantly hustling and constantly fixing things, repairing things, solving things, coming up with new ideas, creating new paths, removing obstacles. You were so focused on the future and just constantly trying to overcome things and showing up for people that you didn't have the ability or the time to witness what they were doing in return. And so now, years later, many months later, you're analyzing things. You're like, wait, hold on. So all this time, I did this for you, but you wanted to pay me back by betraying me? All the time that I was doing this for us, you were gossiping about me, you were betraying me, you were lying about me. All this time, you were taking advantage of me, you were draining me. All this time that you acted so helpless and I was showing up for both of us, you were showing up for someone else. Now you're seeing that they always had a choice. Now you're seeing that they always had the ability to choose to be better for you, to be better for themselves, but they had different priorities. And your happiness, your well-being, your health, your abundance, your evolution was never their priority. And it's heartbreaking and it's sad to see that despite you doing your best, there's nothing else that you could do to satisfy them, to get them to love you, to treat you right. There's nothing else that you can do. It sucks to see that all that effort didn't get you the desired outcome, which was to have a permanent long-term relationship with that job, with those people, those friends, those family members, that partner, that business partner even. It sucks to see that after all the things you went through, you allowed them to put you through, they still could not appreciate you. They could not develop these feelings of love and support for you. But the reason why is because they were never capable of it. They were fooling you. They fooled you from the beginning and found a way to give you the minimum that they thought you required for you to hold on, for you to stay. And now that they have squeezed so many great things out of you, now they're ready to dispose of you. Now they don't need you any longer. Now suddenly they don't care if you walk away, if you leave, if you quit. They suddenly don't think that you ever did much for them. It doesn't affect them. It doesn't hurt them. And yet here it is, destroying you. Here it is, affecting you, draining you, keeping you in bed, like bed rotting. Why? It seems like they've moved on from the rupture, the breakup, the dismantling of you and them, whatever situation you had going on between you and them. It seems like they moved on so quickly and so easily. If they ever cared about you the way that they said they did or acted like it, then how come they moved on so quickly? The feelings were not genuine. And the faster you recognize that is the faster that the pain will hurt less, because you're now realizing it was all an illusion. Allow the grieving process to take place. Allow the time not to heal what happened, but to replace those memories and those feelings with better. And allow yourself to start anew, to begin something different in a different place with different faces, with different people, with different habits, different routines. Allow yourself, give yourself a second chance, allow yourself to start over and use that. Use all of the energy that you think you wasted, all of the anger, because you feel the more than the sadness is starting to shift now into anger, into you being pissed and upset for all the things that you did for people and places that never valued you. Use all of that energy to fuel this motivation and inspiration to move on, to detach, to let go, to cut all ties that you have between you and them. There's nothing useful for you. You're going to encounter new people. You're going to get into new habits, new elements of your lifestyle that you once hoped for, but you didn't think that you had what it takes, or you didn't think that you could do that. Example, like many years ago, you envisioned the life of you being active and you being surrounded by people who made you laugh, having your own group of friends, having your own family. But here you are feeling like an introvert, isolated and completely protected and cut off from society. So that's going to be a big shift. It's not that you are truly an introvert, it's that you haven't been surrounded by the right people who bring about your comfort to be. You have not been surrounded by people who make you feel accepted and valued. And that's actually shifting because you no longer are going to be caring about them validating you or accepting you. You're going to be placed in environments that will allow you to just flourish, to just be, to just exist as you are. But you also are going to be walking into these places with the sentiment of not giving an F about it. You no longer care if people approve, the music that you listen to, the goals that you have in life, the careers that you're interested in. You will no longer care about that. And that experience, that tumultuous and unfair, unjust experience that you went through it's causing you to break free from those limitations, the walls that were confining you, that you're now seeing that you built yourself, and you allowed people to place those bricks to kind of start creating this prison around you of limitations that were holding you back. Part of it were things that you developed, and the other part were things that people imposed on you. Many times when you were like, oh, what if I try this? And somebody was critiquing it like, that's not going to make you money. Why would you do that? That's crazy. There's so many people doing that. It's not that good. You need to study more. Why would you chase that? Why don't you do this instead? All of those people's opinions throughout your life, it was like them building little bricks around you to slowly but surely create these walls that now feel like they're confining you. But it was truly just opinions and people's expectations of you, their standards being placed over your life. It is time for you to take inventory of everything around you and within you, and to gauge what is truly useful to you and what is not. And there's also an interesting shift here happening with your faith and your spirituality. It is actually going to be strengthened. You are being pulled closer and closer and closer to your own divinity, to your own alignment. You're now being no, you're not surrounded by more things now. You've always been surrounded by messages and divine protection, divine beings, but you're now going to be more cognizant and aware of them. Now you're going to be more intrigued by the symbolism, by the synchronicities, by the sudden divine messages. You're now going to be more interested in exploring them, in paying attention to them. You've always been protected. You're always being guided in the right direction. But it wasn't until this sudden, tragic, big shift that's happening in your life that it triggered this new mindset, it just like took off the blindfold. You were stuck in an endless loop of just working a 9 to 5 and just trying to live a normal, traditional life and people pleasing and just doing your best, and that's it. When you were not meant or born for that. You have a bigger purpose. It is time for you to become the main character, and to do it in the most fierce, in the most fearless, in the most abundant, and the most self-loving and generous way. The negative things in your society are crumbling. They're all falling apart, even if it doesn't look like it. Do not allow all the distractions of what's happening around you to push you, to isolate you to this corner of just feeling fear and feeling despair, feeling the unfairness of all that's going on around you. It is very unfair, but trust that there is a lot of divine work at hand. Whatever is happening in your space, in wherever you're seeing this from, whatever is happening in your society is not going to last and is not going to be permitted. Many things are meant to fall apart so that we can rebuild it with the right foundation. And it is actually a pattern happening in your own life. Many relationships, many mindsets, many connections with people and places are falling apart without your ability to save them, without your ability to salvage them, because they were not meant to last. So feel the freedom, the liberation from something or some things that were draining you. Try to feel that liberation, that freedom of you no longer having to show up for them, no longer having to be part of them, no longer having to commit to them, to subscribe to them, and allow yourself to break free, to move on. The new shift is here. The new shift is here, and it starts today. Be graceful to yourself, be kind, and allow yourself to go through the process. You're going to be more than fine. You're going exactly where you're meant to be.